want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
I won't fail you. I'm not afraid.
No more training do you require. Already know you. That which you need.
Then I am a Jedi.
Hello there. Over the course of the history of Star Wars, one of the most fan-favorite characters of the entirety of the Star Wars universe, one of the greatest Jedi in the entire history of the Jedi Order, one of the most powerful Jedi in the entirety of the Jedi Order, and the one who completely restructured how we think of the Force in different ways, is of course Luke Skywalker. So today I want to talk about Luke Skywalker, his training, and everything in between about how he eventually became one of the most powerful Jedi in the entirety of the Star Wars universe. So without further ado, here we go. But first, as always, we start at the very beginning. Luke Skywalker, along with his sister, Leia Organa, were both born on the asteroid known as Polis Massa to the then Senator Padme Amidala. Padme would give birth to Luke and Leia, she would then die, and Luke and Leia would be separated as to keep them away from the Empire as easily as possible. So Leia was given to Bail Organa, while Luke Skywalker was taken and given away to his aunt and uncle, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. For 19 years, Luke Skywalker was living on Tatooine alongside his Uncle Owen and his Aunt Beru, who tried to keep him as far away from the Empire as humanly possible, and tried to stick him on Tatooine where he would be safe. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan Kenobi was watching him from afar, doing everything in his power to protect the Lars homestead, and especially Luke Skywalker, from Jabba the Hutt, from Black Chrysanthemum, from the Tusken Raiders, and from literally everything else in between that would want to try to take over the Lars homestead because of their water farms. Meanwhile, for Luke Skywalker, he was a very ambitious young kid. He was an excellent pilot in regard to the fact that he could easily fly a T-16 Skyhopper. He was a very motivated individual, and he really wanted to join the Empire and enlist so he can get off Tatooine, because there's nothing better than water farming on Tatooine for the rest of your godforsaken life under the twin suns. Luke Skywalker then would encounter Obi-Wan Kenobi as he was saving him from Tusken Raiders after R2-D2 ran off and tried to find his way to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan ended up saving Luke. He ended up asking him to become a Jedi, and they found out that Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru had been murdered by the Empire as they had been looking for R2-D2 and C-3PO. And this is where Luke Skywalker's training officially begins, under the guise of Obi-Wan Kenobi, who conveniently was also the master of his father, Anakin Skywalker, who was also a very well-trained and very exceptional Jedi for the most part when it came to many individuals throughout the entirety of the Jedi Order. Now, for the most part, Obi-Wan Kenobi teaches Luke Skywalker the most basic fundamentals of the Force, how to become a Jedi, using a lightsaber, trusting his instincts, trusting the Force, etc., and it only lasts for somewhere near a couple of hours, if not probably a day, considering the travel from Tatooine to Alderaan, going on to the Death Star, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi dying just maybe about a couple hours later. In short, Obi-Wan Kenobi taught Luke Skywalker the most basic fundamentals of the Force, and Luke Skywalker was mostly self-trained all the way up until the point where the Battle of Hoth happened, and he decided to go to Dagobah because Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force Ghost told him to, and that's where his training under Yoda officially began on the Swamp Planet. And under the tutelage of Grandmaster Yoda, Luke was taught many things: how to be calm, how to be selfless, the balance of the Force itself and its nature between the light and the dark side, destiny, faith, living in the moment, etc., to the point where Luke Skywalker was basically on par with most of the Jedi that were in the actual Jedi Order during the time of Order 66, which is not really saying much. But unfortunately for Master Yoda, Luke Skywalker ended up somehow in the middle of all of that, learning how to see into the future and to see throughout the entirety of the galaxy, in which he saw Leia, Han, Chewie, and C-3PO being captured by the Empire and being tortured by Lord Vader. This ultimately caused Luke Skywalker to abandon his training, go to Cloud City to save his friends, and then to get his ass absolutely whooped by Lord Vader and have the revelation dawned on him that Vader was actually his father. Fortunately for Luke Skywalker, however, somewhere in between all of what was happening between Episode 5 and Episode 6, he did actually end up finding Yoda's holocron, which allowed him to train even further as a Jedi Knight and officially allowed him to train under Yoda in a different way, aside from going back to Dagobah. It wasn't until about 4 ABY, after they saved Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt and managed to free him, defeat Jabba the Hutt, kill Jabba the Hutt, and destroy his sail barge, that Luke Skywalker managed to go all the way back to Dagobah just to watch Yoda die and become the last Jedi in the entirety of the galaxy. So basically, the long and short of it is effectively that Luke Skywalker had two teachers. He had Obi-Wan Kenobi and he had Yoda, and the two of them taught him as much as they knew, including the holocron recording, and they taught him the ways of the Jedi, how to use the Force, how to use everything in between, but didn't teach him lightsaber combat for some reason, because that's something that he needed to vibe with on his own, but that's pretty much it. So until then, I will see you guys later. Have a very merry whatever holiday it is, and may the Force be with you.